Hi and welcome to the Intervino School of Wine, where today we're going to be looking at the first nose and the second nose of a wine. So what's this? This is when we're tasting wine, and many of you know that to taste wine we swirl the wine in the glass, and then we're going to smell to find the aromas, etc. But what's important is that before you do that, you have to notice the first nose. So what's the first nose? Before we swirl the wine, we're simply going to take a first smell of the wine. That's the first nose. We take a mental note, try and remember it. And then what we're going to do is swirl our wine. And again, so just like when you're tasting, you swirl the wine. And what we're going to do is compare the first nose with the second nose. If our first nose, the first time we smell the wine without swirling it, is less intense than our second nose, then we have a wine that's going to be improving. It's in its youth, in its life, it's young, and it's going to be improving. If our first nose and our second nose are of equal intensity, if they have the same intensity of aromas, then we've got a wine that's at its peak. If, on the other hand, we've got a first nose that's big, and then we swirl our wine and our second nose is less intense, we have a wine that's declining and that's going towards its sad death. So make sure you drink that wine very quickly. It's very important to do that, to understand where a wine is sitting in its life. A wine is young, it's going to be improving, it reaches its peak, and then it declines until it's undrinkable and it's dead. How long that is, it really depends on the quality of the wine. A good wine is going to age for a long time. A lesser good wine, a cheap wine, that is going to be a year, up to 50 years for good wine. So that is it. That's one simple thing that you can do to understand where your wine is, whether it needs to be drunk now, or is it at its peak, or is it in decline. One simple tip. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you soon in one of our next videos.